West 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hello, my people. How you doing? This is your man Ra, of course.
Rec, how you doing? This is Inner Source Radio.
We in the building, guys. As we come up on the cusp of the new moon headed our way,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. We got a great show for them today. Today we're going to talk about rebuilding the black family. All right. This may be a long show. We may have to do a part two, but we're going to definitely get it in. We think this is a very important subject for us to talk about. Right now, the black family is starting to make a movement to come back together, but we still have things and issues in a way that we all need to work on. Would you agree, Rex?
I would definitely agree.
Definitely, definitely. So I'm gonna sit back and let my man talk. I know a couple shows ago we did a show on the actual on Blog Talk not so long ago about relationships, and I think we should start there before we actually start talking about family, right? We should talk about the female and the male, and what their particular roles are and what their particular strengths are,
Yeah,
and then move forward into building a strong family, right?
definitely, definitely.
All right, my man, go ahead, let loose, Professor Rec, let him have it, baby.
Well, like Ross said, the best thing for us to do right now is focus on, getting our foundations correct. Um, a lot has pursued throughout generations that has definitely taken a toll, a traumatic toll on our understanding of one another, as well as our understanding of the importance of family. We definitely have come to a point now where, you see that there's a definite cry out for unity and peace thereof. And like you said, the best place to start with this would be, I would think, to break down all the way from the beginning the relationship between man and woman. You know, it's definitely one of the strongest and most wonderful powers that has ever been known to this planet. The unison of both. Right now, I tend to go through a phase where I start, getting into a more emotional and passionate level of understanding exactly what it means to go within and find the piece of you that you've been missing, that you've been yearning for. A lot of spiritual practices have, taken place. A lot of religious indoctrination is taking place. And right now, we're at the point where we're so far removed from who we are as a unit and as a family and as a foundation. if you would take notice to the word relationship, the root of the word is relation, to relate.
Yeah.
So that's where, we really should pay more attention to that root. Meaning so that when we look at what it takes to keep a good relationship or have a positive experience with relationships, we can go from, relationships as far as partnerships between man and woman. We can go to partnerships or relationships building, with colleagues. But like I said, the most important to focus on right at this point would be between a man and his woman, and vice versa, a woman and his man.
Exactly, and I'm with you 100% on that, and I think that the problem, because we do have issues with the black family staying together, and I think that what's really going on is not just one side of the relationship. I think both men and female don't know who they are anymore. I mean, we have guys wearing skinny jeans and dressing like girls, and we have women doing the opposite and doing the opposite just like men are doing,
Yeah,
and it's causing confusion as far as with the roles that each should play. Now, when we speak about the word role, that doesn't mean that we're trying to limit somebody to one thing or limit somebody to another thing. We're not trying to do that, but there's basic principles needed on each side of a relationship that keeps that relationship in balance, right?
yeah, definitely. And like I said, Rod, I go in between, back and forth with science and, just, actually taking a lot of research into consideration.
Yeah.
And I've even found it that it's so wonderful the way, when you finally get to understand it on a level of energy, and power, that you start seeing that, design denotes function. And that's in any case that you look at it.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that design denotes function. So, when people get into, emotional transgressions towards, each other, and, feel some kind of way about the information and how it's being presented, I would ask that anyone just has an open mind and just, kind of go back and into your own thoughts and ask yourself some questions, some deep questions. Because I've noticed that a lot of our families, especially if, you're more, Southern raised,
Yeah.
I would say that a lot of family issues are swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And it's never brought, it's so many family secrets, and it's never really any things that come to the surface and are dealt with, especially when it deals with a form of trauma. And that's all that we're facing right now. We've been facing it throughout generations. You can see, if you go back into your ancestry, you can start seeing how much the families have decreased, even in size, um, in years time spent together.
Yeah.
The divorce rate is real high. The pregnancy rate is either at times real low,
Hmm.
or if it's at an high, then you have broken homes. You
Exactly.
know, which, the parents are not there supporting one another in the foundation of the family.
And
So,
hmm
it's definitely something that has been, I would say, for lack of better terms, it's been almost like a plague. I mean, it's spread so rampant,
hmm
and a lot of it is due to, a lot of the older programs that were put into play and kept us away from our original ancestry and how they thought of family and what their idea of a tribe was, what their idea of unity was.
yeah. Right.
You
Right.
know,
Well, right. I mean, just to put some icing on that one right there. It's just we live in a world that it's about me, 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 me. And You know, men do it, women do it, and the real people that suffer from it are the kids.
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the things that a lot of us, some may have been taught it, and some may not have been taught it to a degree where it was a lot of time spent on. And I would say that is just the point of decision making,
Yeah,
because you have to realize that throughout life, in this experience that you're experiencing, you have so many pinnacle decisions to make.
yeah,
You always come to the fork in the road or the crossroad, and you get faced with this decision, like, you know, and it shifts your whole paradigm, it shifts your whole way of existing in your experience.
yeah.
And I think that if we had spent more time and incorporate more decision making,
Wait a minute,
and
race
how
car,
it
race car. Nah.
and how important it is,
Yeah.
then we would definitely be able to, start to mend some of these wounds.
Well, you know what? There are a lot of wounds. And like you said, it is from lack of family structure for so long. I mean, we did go through, and I did a show on the effects of slavery on the black mind, and that played a big role in the what's the word I want to use, um, in the falling apart or the disintegration of the family unit. We weren't always like this, like Rec was saying. Back in our homeland, we were all about family. We knew our roles. Man would go out, handle what he had to handle, and because the hand that rocks the cradle rule the world, which was typically women back then. Women knew their role was to groom, to teach, and to raise better men, to raise better women. And I all too often I see women nowadays, they'll dog a man in a heartbeat, but they don't look in the mirror to realize that half the time the man's either locked up in jail, and that's what happens in most situations, or it was a bad situation where the two parents shouldn't have never got together, because of the fast life that we live in. Everything is how you look, not how we feel together. You know what I'm saying? And because of those things, um, a lot of children are groomed up or brought up, like women, little girls are brought up to be more strong or independent. And as far as with the little boys, if the father was no good, or he wasn't there, typically the boy would get the brunt of the anger from the mother that the mother had for the father, making the child carry his father's sins, which is completely unfair too. So overall, it's caused a complete role reversal. So you find a lot of men sliding in this homosexuality, or because they had a hard time with their mom, they don't want to get married. They don't want to have someone hovering over top of them, bossing them around all the time. And being that women are less um, fluid, women little girls actually are brought to be more rigid. Is probably the word I want to use.
Yeah,
A little bit stronger, a little bit more headstrong, definitely more independent, and we probably want to talk about that big time.
yeah,
Th-
definitely.
that independent woman thing. Now, I know that we may not gain any fans from this, but this is real talk. And family, this is what we're about. We're about bringing you the truth. We're not about sugarcoating things and being like, everything is roses and butterflies, because it's not. And when one side of a relationship, or of the two sexes, battles the other side, and the other side is either too weak or is too aggressive and battle the other side, then guess what? Those relationships don't work. So I think
Yeah,
that I think that, and like I said a few minutes ago, that the children's, I put children's in there, the children reap the benefit of bad seed, of bad sowing, sowing bad values, sowing bad habits. You know, parents typically in a single family home, whether it's the mother or the father who's taking care of the kid or the children either get well, then most of the time they get neglected. I know when we were coming up, both of us were latchkey kids, so we didn't have our mothers or our fathers there when we got off of school, right? So for the majority or a good portion of my life as a young man trying to become a man, I spent more time being taught by what was on TV, and for a long time I thought what was on TV was what real life was about.
Yeah.
But when we started educating ourselves, and I know you can agree with me, when we started educating ourselves and started finding out about ourselves and then finding out about our culture and what we went through, that gave us a completely different perspective of how family should be, how I should act, how my mate should act, um, and how it has to be a compromises here and there to create that balance. So my question to you, Rex, and I guess I don't know if you want to get heat, because I know we're going to be bashing both sides here. But do you want to break down, some of the things or the major things that women are lacking right now, as far as being able to even be compatible with someone, to be a mate, to be a partner, to be in a relationship, to be the other weight on the other side of the scale that's not tipping it all the way over where the man is just losing everything, and vice versa. I'll do the men's side. I mean, I'll do either or, but it's completely up to you which direction you want to go, because I think that before we could even talk about family, we have to talk about the individual and getting the individuals to look in the mirror at themselves and to take some responsibility for what they do,
Yeah,
right?
Rob. Well, I would definitely say that I would rather have people having an open discussion
Yeah, me too.
about these matters, you know, and I would rather have people, going to the mirror and asking themselves numerous questions, because I know it happens, but most of the time it happens in the process when things are already gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I think before it gets to that point, I think that we need to all work as hard as we can with the amount of time that we have, because, as a result of everyone having to provide and have security and have stability, and everyone seems to be chasing that energy, chasing that currency.
Hmm.
So, we definitely have to take time to go into the mirrors and look at ourselves
Hmm.
and ask, what is it that we want for our life experience? What
Yeah.
is it that we want in a partner?
Hmm.
And you'll find yourself right in front of the answer. The answer is that you want a reflection of the person you are supposed to be, the best
Hmm.
you, the
Yeah.
best form of yourself. You know, I think that what happens a lot of times is, like you said, right? You brought up a lot of great points about how the men and the women have always been in, I would say, a constant tug of war of power.
Hmm.
And it really should not be a tug of war of power, especially when you're looking at it as this person is supposed to reflect where I'm weak, they're strong,
Hmm.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I think that what that does then is, like you said, the most beautiful word that we have on this planet is balance.
Yeah.
That word, balance, we need to incorporate that in everything that we do. We need to have balance. We need to feel that wholeness through that balance.
Yeah.
Now, if you find yourself, having a disagreement with a partner. You know, maybe some things have kind of slipped away that, you know, it used to be good because I know a lot of relationships, you know, they start out wonderful, you know,
Yeah.
both parties are on cloud nine. It's a new experience. You're learning that person and you're growing together.
Yeah, the
And that,
honeymoon. Yeah.
yeah, and that is a beautiful part of it. However, we have to realize too that before you came in contact with your partner or a person you relate to, you had obstacles,
Yeah.
you know? And now, instead of looking at it as, oh, now I have to take on this person's obstacles, we should be looking at it as now we are able to take on these obstacles together. You know, I think that communication is a very, very, very important aspect to have in any relationship.
Definitely. Yeah.
Communication will set aside many, so many indifferences, you know, so many disagreements. I mean, if you can find yourself getting to a level where you're able to respectively agree to disagree,
Hmm.
then that's fine because none of us were made in the same totality of one another. You
Yeah.
know, there's not one individual or being on this planet that you will say this person is exactly like me in every aspect in every way because it's not going to happen. And that's where the balance comes in.
Yeah. And both people have to be willing to compromise to achieve that balance. Um,
Exactly.
you know, it's kind of hard to do when these people are thrown stuff from TV and music and movies as if that is what real life is about. And you know, sadly, because the family unit isn't together, neither the little girl or the little boys really have a chance to be developed to know who they are.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
the only thing they know is what they see on TV, and that's what I should be, but they don't know who they are. And you know, that is probably the biggest barrier. You know, I know with guys are real quick to try and have sex with a woman before they even really get to know her. In fact, I mean, not to put myself under the bus, but I know when we were coming up, it was almost kind of a sport to see how many chicks that we could get, and that type of attitude towards the other sex, you know, as an older adult now, I look back at my youth and I know I was wrong. So when I see young brothers out here, you know, bouncing from flower to flower like a bumblebee, and you know, not even getting to know the chick, and then they turn around and get the chicks pregnant, or get the women pregnant. I shouldn't say chicks, get the women pregnant. At an early age, 13. I mean, they're getting pregnant earlier than that, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 11 and 12, and you know, all because they're exposed too early to 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 sexuality, either via the parents. I know some parents are a little reluctant, or I shouldn't say reluctant, are a little loose, as far as how they bring people into their home and in front of their kids, and will do things that they probably shouldn't be doing around their kid. It doesn't mean that a parent shouldn't have privacy and shouldn't be able to do what he or she wants to do, but you can't neglect your child and leave your child in a situation where they're able to see that. Or, I mean, we know from the FCC they've lowered the regulations on rated R movies. Um, so even minors, I know when we were younger, we couldn't get into those movies, but even minors nowadays can get into adult movies and won't anybody say anything to them. When we were younger, they would snatch you up and look for your parents.
Yeah, well, see, a lot with that is, like we said before, the programming that's done, you know, it's kind of beating the parents to the race of having that conversation with their children
Yeah,
about about creation. because really, the sexual aspect of us all in the physical form here is to create.
Yeah.
It is a natural form of what we're supposed to be doing. However, I will say, away from morality, if we look at it as, I would say, if we look at it on the level of nature, human nature, if we look at it on that aspect and we're able to develop an open form of communication with our children, and we're able to show them that the same way that in nature seeds are sown, things grow, things are created, the same way that the same way that we were created, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is how the creation process works. This is what it entails. So then when you get the perverse programming and all of that on the outside,
Hmm.
they will already have a sense of moral understanding of saying that's not the proper way. That's not creating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, man.
That
And but they think that's what it is, right?
Yeah, but they obviously, with all of the other things that are going on, like you said, with the parents not being there and having to provide and create a sense of security and stability for the children,
Yeah.
their teachings get intercepted. And now these devices are teaching them. You have tablets, you have cell phones that have access to the internet. I mean, all kinds of ways that children can be exposed to it through the music, music videos. I mean,
Facebook. I mean, have you seen Facebook lately?
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
definitely. It's definitely not a place for. I wouldn't even say teenagers should be on Facebook at this point.
man,
You know, it's
they're doing whole. I've hopped on Facebook and seen like whole porns, like people have taking videos of them having sex and putting their sex on Facebook. Like, are you?
yeah,
This is the type of mental damage that we're dealing with. That is
yeah,
something that should be private, but
yeah.
they're
It's
not.
out of
It's completely out of control. They're not even thinking about how that's affecting other people.
And that's why, a lot of people say, well, I've had people ask me, well, what would be the point of us going back and seeing how things were done before when we're living in the present day? And this is the present times and the times that we're in, you
Hmm.
know, it's so informative and it's so fast paced, and even the children are quickening in their learning processes,
Yeah.
and they're like sponges. They absorb all kinds of information, no matter where it comes from. They absorb it, they take it in. They might process something and say, all right, that's not for me, or that doesn't look right, or that doesn't feel right. But at the same time, they need that guidance. They need that on time guidance. You have to realize that children now are so impressionable that it is very, 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 very important to stay on top of any information that they could be taking in. I mean, it's all in the cartoons. I've seen hidden images in cartoons. I've seen hidden sexual uh, words, hidden in there, all kinds of indirect mental programming.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand. They call a lot of people conspiracy theorists, and they're a bit far out. But why not think of these things and take these things in and at least have knowledge of them? And then if you can come upon your own conclusion of is this really real or is it not, then it helps you just by having that awareness to it.
I'm just gonna talk about how these things portray, TV, radio, and how it messes up the family unit. Okay. Um, Typically, like I'm gonna go back to an old TV show. Remember, Love and Marriage, Married with Children, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you had Al Bundy, who they made out to be the prototypical man, slow, a Neanderthal, dumb. You know what I mean? A drunk, stinky feet.
Yeah,
uh,
tuned into the television,
tuned into the television,
not
um,
very attentive to his children or his wife.
or his wife. And on the other side, you had Peg. That was her name, Peg, right?
Yeah.
Who was always, wearing the tightest clothes she could. Her daughter followed in her steps, wearing it, being the neighborhood or the high school, jump off is probably the best way to say it, right? And my mother was the same way, and every time Al got paid, mom would take the money, and if he didn't had the money, then she would go out with her girls, or she would steal the money. And that was kind of how they played it, as if the man was dumb, and the woman is supposed to just take,
Hmm.
and not provide. I mean, she didn't provide anything for the family. She didn't even she didn't even cook for the kids,
Yeah.
you know and this is the type of stuff that creates false stereotypes about what women really are and what men are really are, you know
Yeah. Even I mean, even I'm glad you brought that up in a way because even the mundane um version of the song that they would sing, love
Love
and
and
love. Yeah,
yeah,
it was kind of mundane and kind of like, not very exciting. Like it's already given that frequency
hmm
to you as far as, marriage is not really an exciting thing. It's kind of a drag. Even
yeah,
his voice was dragging,
yeah,
so you have to take all of those things in perspective when you're thinking about programming. And people for years have said, turn on the TV program. Like I know a lot of my grandparents and all that, they would turn the TV off, because they were like, that's a television program. They would call it that back then. Now it's channel, and they give the channel a number or whatever. But it
yeah,
used to be, turn on my program or turn on this program. So
yeah.
they were telling, they were using the vocabulary of what it actually was doing. And it was
Entertainment.
actually entertaining and programming
hmm
all at once.
exactly. And being that we're kind of pushed into that arena, because if you don't fit into the stereotype, then something's wrong with you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
go
you
ahead.
can look you can look at how the Cosby family was. When the Cosbys was on,
hmm
that was like a symbolism of what a so-called black family
Should
was
have been.
supposed to yeah, was
Yeah.
supposed to be.
That was the
Um
show was. I mean, Mr. Cosby made that show specifically to help rebuild the black family.
yeah, that different world,
To encourage
you
kids to go
had
to college. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So you had all of these things that were, trying to play. But how many of those shows did we have? We kind of grabbed to what we had.
We had one.
And later on down the line, you see that, they kind of tarnished the heck out of Cosby's image,
Yeah.
whether or not he did what he did or not. That's not the point.
He
The
didn't do it.
point of it is,
Yeah.
why was this man attacked at his age? Why was he attacked like that? He had to have been doing something positive, or he had to have some more positive things in planning,
hmm
to take the black family to that next level.
Well,
You know,
just I gotta, because I gotta do it for Bill and his pudding pops. Uh, by the way, Bill wasn't guilty, and what happened was he was building a network, right? Right. He was
yeah,
building a network
yeah,
geared towards black family, just like
yeah,
his TV show, built rebuilding the black family, giving them a positive image to emulate. And luckily, we had him when we were growing up, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, these kids they get was the King Queens what's the movie with the Wayne's brother and the chick from Martin, I forgot her name. You got that show.
Oh yeah,
You have all the Tyler Perry movies where the men are played out as dumb and you know
yeah.
Neanderthals. I mean, it's the same thing with that. And and you know, it was funny. I was talking to my cousin today, and I used to like Tyler Perry movies. I used to like his little shows and whatever. But the theme that he has been sticking with since he came in the game was to make men inferior. And
Yeah.
part of that reason why, now that I know, I mean, I didn't find out until recently that he was homosexual. But to him, to play a strong man out as weak and as stupid as dumb, really destroys the family. You know, it makes and causes confusion where dudes don't even get along with their women. And you know, is that an agenda? Do you think that's an agenda he's pushing, or he's just doing it because he can make a quick buck off of it?
Well, either way, I would say that, it's definitely not a good look and a positive look
No,
on where we need to be as far as the black family structure.
no, it's
And
not.
and I would say that, by again, like you said, everything is me, me, me. So I would suggest that more than anything, he's allowing himself to be used just to create a certain level of security for himself and his well-being. Now, I will say the people that he employ or what have you, he's helping them.
Yeah, good people. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not. There's nothing against the people. No, no.
he's helping them to get off on their own careers and do great things
But
as well on.
it's the example, right? The
But it's
example.
it's always the example. It's
Mhm.
always the example, and we have to be very careful of what example we put out of there. I'm not saying that any of us are perfect, but I am saying that at a certain point we should know and we should be able to feel what is helping and what is hurting. Numbers don't lie. We can see divorce rates, we can see marriage rates, we can see single parent homes.
Mhm.
All of the black family rates are high in these things, like missing the parents.
Yeah.
It's usually children over 18 that's still at home with a single mom.
Yeah.
Even when you have a situations like single fathers.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean,
that's starting to rise
that
now. That's on the
yeah,
rise.
that's starting to get on the rise, and that in itself, it's not really. I give a shout out to any single black man that's holding his children down, and definitely standing in their life and being there. But how can a man run a home by himself and provide and make sure that the kids are okay by himself? Like that's a lot of stress even for a man to endure.
Yeah, it's a lot for a woman to endure too.
Yeah,
But it's because they're like I said, men at an early age they're feeling themselves and they're trying to get with the sexiest chick in the world and never bother to get to know the woman for who she is. You know.
yeah,
And women are so busy trying to hook up with the coolest guy or the guy that got the most things instead of spending time with them, maybe even just playing friendship, being friendship, and go on dates here and there. Now the word date just mean a day and time. That's it.
yeah, yeah,
It don't mean that you're together. All right, so you can set up dates, but you should never really bring yourself into somebody until you're sure that that person is someone that you can build with.
yeah.
So
And Rock, I would definitely say also and add to that.
mhm,
We have to learn how to not rush. Being that, like I said, this day and time is so fast paced, but we need to learn how to not rush into any situation. We need to understand that it's very important to,
slow
um,
down, slow it down.
yes,
Yeah,
slow down, learn one another, you know, um, spend time being friends, get that strong friendship bond
yeah,
and get it so strong that you will start seeing everything that you wanted in a reflection of yourself may be right there for you, and you not even know it.
Yeah.
Because, if you jump the gun and you don't know the ups and downs, you need to know both sides. You need to know the positives, you need to know the negatives,
Negatives. Yeah.
and you need to know how can we go about, working these things out.
Right.
How can we get past, some of the things that you're not really, uh I won't say capable, because we're all capable,
Yeah. Of
but
doing all things. Both sexes
yeah,
are capable of doing
yeah,
all things.
I would definitely say that, maybe there are more strengths that one person has than the other. And, with those weaknesses, all we have to do is reciprocate to each other, that, look, I'm here to help you through this. If you need help, I can get you where you need to be through that. If you have a hard time with that, boom, that's what I'm there for.
You know,
And
I'm sorry, I gotta interject because you made a point, and
mm,
you're absolutely right. You know, it says in the Bible to the Christians out there that you know they're helpmates.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And if you're when you get married or even when you get in a relationship, the decisions you make, excuse me, my words kind of ran together. The decisions you make have to stop being completely about you.
yes,
All right, you have to start to think about the whole. And to me, I've been in relationships where you know, even the most recent one where the whole was less important than the I or the family that was attached to the I on that particular side of the relationship.
yeah,
And when you do that, you create a great imbalance that no one wants to be around. And what happens is if the man is spending too much time with his dudes, is making decisions to spend time with his dudes all the time, his boy, his brother, or whatever, that leaves open time for woman to go and do it, because she's not going to sit there for that. I don't blame her, you know, and
yeah.
and vice versa. If a woman does that, then a man is going to go out and do what he got to do. So there has to be compromises in these type of things,
Exactly. I
you know.
was I was about to say that again. That's the table talk. That's the pillow talk.
Yeah,
Wherever you get into your most intimate conversation, that is what needs to come out. That needs to be presented,
yeah,
because compromise is definitely what's going to keep the fuel to the fire.
and teamwork.
You
Yeah,
you yeah you can't really expect someone to be everything that you want them to be. You have to allow them to be themselves as well. However, you know that when you guys come together, that things will get done.
yeah,
Whether it's an obstacle that has to be, faced together, we get through it together. If there's a financial situation, we get through that together.
yeah.
You
But
know,
all too often they run off. You
oh
know,
yeah,
if the money's not there, you know, a chick will run off. If a dude ain't allowed to be as raunchy or as ain't allowed to be as unorganized or whatever, because women, I give women credit this. Most women are real organized and stringent with how if a man ain't allowed to be around bummy and all that type of stuff. Dude, at some point you gotta grow up and realize that what, take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? But the golden rule is you treat others like you want to be treated, right?
exactly,
So if you love yourself,
exactly.
then you need to love your partner just as much, if not more, than you love yourself. And if we had that going back and forth, then it'd be a whole different issue. But then we had these on the female side, and I have to do it, because I already bashed men for a little while. But on the female side, the role models they have is Nicki Minaj, who talk about men like they ain't crap. Same thing with little Kim, back in the day with us.
Yeah.
Rihanna, and I mean, and these are beautiful women, but they don't value men, and
Well,
it's
I
sad
would,
because that all started on the men's side. I'm not gonna say it didn't start on the men's side. That all started on the men's side, but as a result, women do the same thing, and they think that two wrongs make it right, and it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, I would definitely say that, um, with celebrities and the platform that they have, we tend to expect a lot more from them
Yeah.
because a lot of energy goes into what they do. A lot of our energy goes into the lifestyles that they live. You know, now don't get me wrong, they work hard for what they accomplish.
Yeah.
However, I think that we can't we can't always look for them as being role models. We can expect certain things from them, but we
Yeah.
can't look for them to be role models. And that's where, we have to do our job as adults, both adults, coming together and understanding who we are.
Yeah.
Because when you take on who you are, you're able to clean up some of the things that, some of the faults you have made. I mean, we have to be really serious here. We have to understand that each day is a new day.
Yeah.
We're not said to be here for the next day. That's not written in stone for us as far as we know. So we have to cherish each moment, each second of taking and utilizing that time to find the inner love within ourselves for ourselves, and also reflecting and giving that out, because 9 times out of 10, if you're giving out that, then you'll receive it.
Yeah.
You'll definitely receive it. Now, I'm not saying don't have boundaries. Everyone should have their certain boundaries. But when it
Yeah.
comes to a partner that you can confide in and you can trust in, and you've already agreed
Yeah.
and made a mutual agreement to this is how things are going to go,
Yeah.
then it's no reason why you can't pull the pieces together and make the things happen for the positive results
Yeah. The
that'll
whole.
come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna, since I'm playing the bad guy, you walking that fine line and making me the bad guy, but that's fine. I don't mind giving real talk to people. What really saddens me is that a man to find a good woman, a good, faithful, honest, loving, caring woman, and will cheat on her.
oh yeah,
And on the other side, a woman will find a good, strong man and will spend time trying to break him down, right? Now,
yeah,
when I say these things, I'm not talking about every woman, and I'm not talking about every man.
oh
But
yeah,
I'm going to tell you something. If it struck a chord with you, then you is who I'm talking to. All right? Point
yeah,
blank, period. Because all too often we spend this time putting lipstick on a pig, as you say in the politics race. It's time to get rid of that. It's time. We live in a real world with real people, and people have
yeah,
emotions. Okay? And if you're not that type of person, whether male or female, that can't get over him or herself for the whole, then you don't need to be with anybody. All right, that's just real talk. I'm not gonna sit here and candy coat stuff and play fluff, 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 fluff for you, because at the end of the day, the problem is that's all we get. That's all we get as a pat on the back. It's gonna be all right. You just go do what you gotta do, and to get encouraged to go out and jump back out there and talk to any kind of chick you meet or any kind of dude you meet just to get over the last dude or the last chick. But the problem was that, wait a minute, maybe the problem was me. See, no one steps up anymore and take responsibility for themselves,
yeah,
right? They want to point the finger at the other one. Oh, he did this. Oh, she did that. Well, guess what? What did you do? What did you do to make this relationship work or fail, right? Assess yourself. When we're adults here, and maybe not all adults are listening to this show, and if you are, underage, and I may say some words that you probably shouldn't be hearing, just know this is real talk. I'm a real person, right?
Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, if you know you don't want someone treating like you treating your man, or treating you like you treating your woman, then why do it? Why? Because it's all about you? I hear this phrase all the time: "Born alone, die alone." That's true, but you can't get through this life without people,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
and you can't last that long. I mean, there's people that go through life and they get all their things done, and they never get married, or they get married, they get divorces. But normally those people aren't very happy, and they aren't happy because they don't have that other part of them. And why don't they have the other part of them? Because they so self-absorbed in who they are that they can't see past themselves to know or even allow a person to
To
be their
come in.
teammate, or,
Yeah.
or, or be their helpmate, or to help build them up, or to help correct them when they screwing up. It's part of that, people. Not everything that everyone does is right. It's not. And you should never be scornful over correction. You should sit down. If your woman comes to you, my brother, and says, "Honey, I'm having an issue with this and XYZ," instead of you popping off the lid, listen to her. You gotta listen to her, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to him, right? This ain't the monster truck rally where you spend all the time trying to, "I'm gonna crush these cars." You know, it's this ain't what it is. Do you, if anyone out there is listening, you look around and you see what's going on here, right? The black family is last in everything. I mean, we may make same money or close to it, but the black family itself is so far behind, it's ridiculous. We have foreigners coming here who have more stable families and have better growth than we do. Real talk. Now, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna win any fans behind this, and I'm not trying to. I'm trying to help. But you must understand. You must understand your roles. All right.
Yeah.
A
Definitely.
woman that can't cook, that's fine. If the man cooks, then let him cook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If a man is good at raising a kid and he wants to raise the kids, then let him teach the kids, right?
Yeah.
If it's vice versa, and the woman, she likes going out and doing yard work and all types of stuff, then let her do that. But just because I'm not trying to confine either sex in a role, I understand that there's a give and take type of thing right here. But before you step into any relationship, you damn well better look in that mirror and know who you are. All too often we see people get married early, and I'm not going to say that some marriages that happen early aren't good. Some marriages that happen early are good, right? But it's a slim to none chance that marriages early on or relationships early on last that long. So I want to advise my brothers and my sisters: take precaution, right? Because from 18 to hell, I mean, to almost 30 years old, you still trying to find out who you are.
Yeah.
Just
And
because
it's some past that age limit that still have no idea who
I
they
have no
are.
idea who they are because they spend their life in a world of make believe. I'm going to tell you something about the U.S. and about the stuff they do. I don't know, this may be a little off topic, but it's kind of on topic when it comes to what they expose our people to. Not just us, I mean people around the whole country, and it doesn't matter about race. This is just strictly for everyone who's listening. They will sell you out and don't care what happened to you. If they think they can make a quick buck off of selling you some raunchy video or some gangster music or some tight clothes, they're gonna do that. If they think that they can make money from you losing your hair, women, then they're gonna sell you hair care products like Lye that burn your stuff, that burn your hair out, leave you bald, that affect your insides chemically. They don't care about you. I'm gonna be honest with this. So the status quo kills people. At the end of the day, it kills people. It kills relationships. It kills the foundations that hold this country together. If these people don't even care about us, then it's our job to do that for us. It's not really the government's job to go out here and regulate stuff. Just like you said earlier, right? It's not. And businesses ain't, they're not gonna give a damn. They're not. Because it's about them. It's about how much money they can make off of you. And if they make you look like the fool in the process, so be it. As long as you keep bringing your check to them. So, I mean, relationships are the backbone. Are the backbone of countries, of cities, of counties, of towns. When we did go through slavery, and yeah, it was a dark period. And yeah, we got trained to do things like not talk to the elders. The young folks turn the young folks against the older folks, and the woman against the man, and so on and so forth. And this does carry on till today. But at some point, I need you guys. I need adults. I need young adults. I need people who think on their own, whether they're teenagers or not. I need you guys to be the example. We don't have Bill Cosby anymore. That's the only show I can think of where it was a stand-up man and a stand-up woman, a strong woman and a strong man, and they professions, and they came together and worked together. That's the only TV show that I can say, now mind you, black people, the only black family show that I could ever remember being like that. I don't see any other show like that. It's all about being a clown. Or he a dog. Get that poison out of your head. Get it out. We download this crap, like Rec was saying, we download this crap on a regular basis, and we think that's us, but we need to look in the mirror and find out who we are. That means cut the tube off. That means you listen to this whack rap music and all this. Cut it off. I heard this chick say, I don't know why we got to learn other languages. I think we all should just speak English. Every country should just switch to English. Sweetie, first thing, by the way she was talking, I could tell she was ignorant. But second thing, when you look at these other cultures, like if you go with a Japanese family, they tight. You go with a Spanish family, they'll have generations of their family in the house. You look at the black family, you got one parent in there and the kids running around crazy. Daddy out there running the streets or locked up for child support because he had sex with a chick he didn't like and he was in the wrong. So he make those kids suffer, or she make those kids suffer. I've seen women go out here and use kids as pawns just to get money in an apartment. I've heard women say that I'm gonna make sure he my baby daddy. I've heard them say that. Not caring about the life they brought into this world. And those people, and I'm going to tell you to my responsible young adults, to my responsible old adults or middle-aged adults, stay away from those people. We can't save everybody. Right, Rick? I mean, we're here to save those who are ready. Right? So when it comes to building a family, when it comes to creating the future, because that's what you guys are doing, that's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
To hold the future in your hands with children. A little boy, a little girl. She can grow up to be president. He can grow up to be president or astronaut or whatever. But that foundation ain't there. That child's going to end up in the street or in jail or on the pole or doing whatever they got to do to fit in. There's an old, and I know I keep alluding back to Christianity. That was kind of my mainstay when it came to studying religion. Of course, I studied all of them, but that's the one I know I'm most intimate with. It says that if you plant a seed in the middle of the road, it'll never grow because it'll get trampled out. If you plant a seed amongst the thorns and thistles, it'll get choked out. If you plant a seed on rocky terrain, the roots will never grow deep enough for it. If the wind blows across, it'll tip right over. You have to have fertile foundation or fertile land to plant a seed. And we have these babies having babies and they don't even know who the hell they are. So what do you think they raise up? They raise up these dudes like Flocka. Oh, what's the other dude? You're like a damn zombie. No brain in their head. Never had a foundation. Never had any kind of structure. Never had any kind of good example of what a man should be or what a woman should be. And we can spend all this time blaming, like you said earlier, we can blame TV, but it ain't their responsibility. It's ours. So, I mean, I'm going to step back for a minute because I know I did a little bit too much real talk. But real talk, get over yourself. Right? 1 is a lonely number. Can I get an amen?
Amen, brother.
1 is a lonely number. So you spend all this time worrying about 1, you. What kind of life is that going to be? Huh? When you get old, who gonna want to look at your tail when you 50 or 60 years old and you still single? Well, I just ran the streets too long. Well, what did you find out there? Nothing, right? And I'm not a proponent against going out and partying and so on and so forth. I'm not against that. But there has to be set rules, set morals. It needs to be set structure. And that starts with the parents that have children today. I can't change yesterday. I can't change it. And none of us can. But we can change today and make tomorrow better each day that we wake up. But we don't do that, do we, Rick?
No, that we definitely have to start incorporating that every single day.
I don't ram my mouth too much, man. I'm gonna let you go. It bothers me, man, to my core. That you see the ratchetness that goes on, and I see people on Facebook all the time, and they cheer it on. Yay! Really? Why y'all keep putting these videos on Facebook of dudes fighting girls? Why y'all playing into this system that is set up to tear you apart? They know that family is stronger than 1. Why you think the governments around the world put a war? It's basically a silent war against family, and you guys are playing into it. Now I hear a lot of people, I'm smart, can't tell me nothing, but you get brainwashed every day. How smart are you? No, you're arrogant. You're selfish. You're self-absorbed. Life has never been about one person. And yes, you come out that womb once. But when you come out, you got a mother. If your father's there, you got a father. You got grandparents. You get friends. So you're never alone. So why should your life be focused on you? Yes, when you learn who you are, focus on yourself, and that's it. And I will subscribe from a certain age to a certain age. I wouldn't even think about anything serious. Oh, I love her. That word's gotten so cheap now. Oh, I love him. What, because he give you stuff? You love her because she got a fat booty or something? Hell, you see Nicki Minaj, she paid for her butt. What was the other girl? Cassette Michelle? She got a nice one. She paid for that too. We so superficial, right? We so superficial. And then we walk around here like we grown. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Well, those are people I don't want to deal with anyway. That's not who this show was for, right? This show is for the leaders. The ones who want a better tomorrow. And are willing to do the things they gotta do, whether it's sacrifice or whether it's pushing themselves to be a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. Going inside, going inner.
I'm gonna silence up for a little bit, man. I just ran my mouth for a good 20 minutes. But I know you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it was much needed.
Now, it says right here, family, like the branches of a tree, we all grow in different directions, yet the roots remain one. They remain one. Now, we hear this thing about soulmates, and on the higher spiritual level, we hear twin flames and all these things. But relationship, especially a married one, means that you're no longer Jackie and he's no longer John. What do they call it? Kim Ye? Is that what they call him?
Yeah,
So I mean, brother Rec, I mean, I think the black family is in trouble. I think the black people are in trouble. In fact, let me take it off the black thing. I think that family is an endangered species that no one cares about because I'm more important than us.
yep.
I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna go take cool off for a little bit, man. Go ahead, roll it up, man, because I'm fed up with this.
Yeah, I definitely say like it was written in the scriptures, in the Bible for those of you that are Christians or may know the Bible. It was written that, behold, I make all things new. There will be a new heaven, a new earth, and the former things shall pass away. And that's something that we need to keep in mind at all times. Is we have to become those new things, those new creations.
Mhm.
We have to go inside. We have to do a lot of healing.
Yeah,
We have to look for those that are trying to assist,
yeah,
and we need to go and we need to get this information and get this knowledge of self that was lost for so long
yeah.
and get it reinserted back into our being, into our whole way of being.
And where does that start, right?
It starts with the inner source.
Yeah.
It starts with the inner knowing you, going within, traveling within.
You are more than sneakers. You are more than high heels and tight jeans. You are more than hanging out with your boys and hanging out with your girls. You are more than what they portray you to be. Know yourself, right? You don't have to
Yep.
jump from bed to bed for your boys or for your girls. Who cares? Half of those phony friends ain't gonna be there anyway.
And I would say that the whole superficialness of judging a person by the outside, judging the book by its cover, I would say that's just like judging the spacesuit
Yeah.
and not judging the navigator of the spacesuit.
Hmm.
Because without that, you don't know the person's true being. You don't know their true self. You don't know who they are. All you're judging is how it looks, how it appears. Your perception can also lead to your deception.
Okay.
So it's very, very, very important that we start to take time to love ourselves, to have more information on ourselves. A lot of the stuff that was generation and traditional and ancient to us, it has to be resurfaced. We have to bring that missing link. We have to bring those hidden attributes of ourselves. We have to bring those back out, revive them, revitalize them.
That's right, y'all.
and that's what we're here to do. And if we're gonna do it one day at a time, one step at a time,
we gonna do that. We gonna do that, right?
We're gonna do it.
And we're gonna do it what? We're gonna do it together.
Together.
Because we family, whether we blood or not. Anyway, this is another episode of Inner Source Radio. I know we really didn't get into what we had to get into, but check it out, people. We're gonna have a part 2 to this. We're gonna get more in depth into the sides that each partner should play for one another. We're gonna get into how the family should teach one another. What my brother say, each one teach one, right?
Definitely.
Close it out, Rec.
Thank you all for tuning in to Inner Source Radio. You gotta love yourself and find your reflection. Let your light shine. And as always, peace and one love.
Walk with love, baby. Inner Source Radio. Hit him, Rec. Oh, he done left me. Inner Source Radio, guys. See you next week.